So preparations are underway for the 19th Caribbean Internet Governance Forum and the 2nd Caribbean Youth Internet Governance Forum. So joining us now are Nigel Cassimire, Deputy Secretary, General Caribbean Telecommunication Union, and Shernon Osepa, Director, Caribbean Affairs and Development. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning. Happy to be here.
Good morning.
Good morning. Mr. Cassimire, let's get right into the meat of the matter. Tell us about these events that you have for us.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, as you mentioned, the 19th Caribbean Internet Governance Forum, and basically the topic is in the name, Internet Governance. And Internet Governance basically is the process whereby we look at all the technical and non-technical matters associated with keeping the internet running and running efficiently. Okay, this has been an event that has been taking place since 2005 in the Caribbean, at least, and we initiated it along with in partnership with the CARICOM Secretariat in 2005 to get the Caribbean region ready for the then UN assembly that was called the World Summit on the Information Society. Governments of the world had realized the need to start looking at policies to ensure, orderly evolution and use of the internet. And that initiative, in fact, has been very, very, very appropriate because we all aware of the pervasiveness of the internet and use of the internet in all aspects of our daily lives. So what we do in an Internet Governance Forum is that we bring together all the relevant stakeholders, and that means everybody, because everybody uses and is affected by the internet. So that would include government, policymakers, it would include private sector, it would include civil society persons, down to the end users of the internet, like you and me, academia, people looking and studying the impacts of all these things. And in more recent years, there's also been an emphasis on the youth. Part of the stakeholder groups that have emerged, as well as the technical community, which includes people like the Internet Society that Mr. Osepa represents. And they are very much supportive of the internet governance processes within the Caribbean. So they will be involved. Apart from the Internet Society, there is the Internet Corporation for Assigned Names and Numbers, or ICANN, and what they do is they manage the whole regime of domain names, the .coms, the .orgs, and all those sorts of things that are used in the internet. And behind that are all the numbers associated with the internet. In the telephone network, we used to use telephone numbers. In the internet, we tend to use names, but numbers are behind the names because it's all digital. Yeah. So we have a wide range of stakeholders involved in the 3-day program from August 22nd to 24th. It'll be hosted right here at the CTU Secretariat in Port of Spain. And it will also be on an online event. So it'll be hybrid, as we call it in these days, post-COVID. I'll stop there for the moment to see if you want to go in any particular direction.
Mr. Osepa, please tell us about your participation here, and why is this, or why are these events so important at this time?
Yes, first of all, Internet Society is a global not-for-profit organization focusing primarily on the development of the internet. So basically what we would like to do is to see our region being developed with respect to the internet. For us, this event is not only like a simple event, it's more like a platform where we can focus on internet development. If you look in the Caribbean, most of the times we are consumers, we don't develop much things. So we would like to see a change in that regard. So that is why we are participating at this event, whereby we're going to use the internet. Mr. Cassimire did mention internet governance. He didn't define what is meant with internet governance. I'm not going to do that neither, so we will leave that for next week. But I think it's important for us to understand what is the internet. Is the internet only Instagram? Is that Facebook? Is that Google? So I would like to invite you to join us next week and you get all the answers regarding that. But I would like to focus a bit on the governance part of it. So when we look at the governance part of it, we are not meaning here governments. The governance part is more focusing on the holistic approach, how we are dealing with the internet. And there is a key component there, which is economic development and social development. And these are the areas where we would like to focus on as well. In addition to other areas such as the infrastructure itself, security, legal, economic, social, cultural, human rights, all these will be discussed. But for us at the Internet Society, it's very important for us to look at the Internet itself and how we can use the Internet to get our region developed.
Yeah. And Mr. Cassimire, I suspect one major part of this is so that countries in the Caribbean can be on a similar level as to what is happening internationally?
Yes, indeed. In fact, that is right up the alley of the Caribbean Telecommunications Union. We are the CARICOM institution that specializes in information and communications technology. So that includes the internet and telecommunications proper. So, and one of our key objectives of the CTU is harmonizing the approaches and the policies associated with telecommunications and ICT among our CARICOM states. All right, so the raison d'etre for the Caribbean Internet Governance Forum, or CIGF as we call it, is basically was in the first instance to harmonize Caribbean views to take into the International World Summit. And while we have a Caribbean Internet Governance Forum, there is also a United Nations Internet Governance Forum that is held annually. Ours is held annually as well. And so basically, it helps us to keep harmonized Caribbean views to take into the global fora at all times. So that is, as also as Shernon said, and I said it as well, that we'll be addressing a wide range of issues, technical and non-technical ones. Shernon mentioned the social and economic development matters, and we as day-to-day internet or WhatsApp or Facebook users will appreciate the social complications that have arisen or can arise when we're dealing with persons using the internet. There are also legal issues and so on. So in the Caribbean, we've harmonized our policies associated with the internet and its governance into a document we call the Caribbean Internet Governance Policy Framework. And that was first issued in 2009. And at this year's event, part of our program is going to be a workshop which seeks to update a new issue of it to take account of the evolution of the internet since 2016, which was our last update of the document. So we seek to harmonize the Caribbean policies, approaches, impacts, matters associated with the internet. And very important as well is connectivity and inclusion, making sure, because of the pervasiveness of the internet and value of the internet these days, that we maximize the availability of the internet to all parts. So we don't want to have unserved areas, underserved areas, and facilitating universal connectivity is also part of the discussions in internet governance.
Gentlemen, please hold your thoughts. We are going to a very short break. We'll be right back. And welcome back, everyone. So we are continuing our discussion on the 19th Caribbean Internet Governance Forum and the 2nd Caribbean Youth Internet Governance Forum. Mr. Osepa, why the emphasis on the youth? Is it that the youth, they are the greatest users of the internet, and that's the reason?
It's not only about bigger users. At the youth we see, we have, let's say, some very bright minds. We have some key universities in the Caribbean with some, let's say, very bright minds, and we would like to use them. We would like to see the youth using the internet for meaningful things, not just, let's say, on Facebook and Instagram for gossip and those kind of things, but to use their talents to help us to continue to develop the internet. I think it's very important for us to mention, Mr. Cassimire has been very humble in that regard, but it's very important to mention that the first Internet Governance Forum was developed or was organized in the Caribbean by the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, even before the global one at the United Nations level. So we have been doing great things. And also the first search engine, even before Google, was developed in the Caribbean by someone in Barbados. I mean, he was that successful regarding being a billionaire as those that are nowadays. But I mean, the concept. So all of us, in one way or the other, we do have a brain, we can think. And if you look at the youth, they can help us significantly in that regard. So that is why we are focusing on the youth for them to assist us regarding the direction we should go.
Mr. Cassimire, is there a concern at all? Because we all know that we can use the internet. It is beneficial. It is useful for a lot of things. But we are seeing where the internet is being used to promote delinquent behavior, delinquent ideologies, etc. We're seeing how the social network is being used for a lot of things that may not be beneficial to the societies in the Caribbean and I suspect internationally. Is this going to be a focus at all of your forum?
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, cybersecurity and cybercrime is a fundamental part of internet governance. All right. And in our program, in fact, and not only that, I should say, the way we develop our program, part of the process involves getting ideas from the general community, all the stakeholders I mentioned, as to what are the topics we want to have addressed. And cybersecurity and cybercrime is a topic that comes up every year, and it will feature again in our program this year. In fact, on the first day, there is a session that would highlight some of the international cooperative frameworks and other national imperatives associated with cybersecurity and cybercrime. The internet came into a world that was physical, with geographic boundaries and boundaries for jurisdiction and so on. But the internet is a global network of networks that through innovation, we found ways and means to interconnect and use as one hyper-connected world. That didn't coincide with the pre-existing geographic boundaries. So people do things on the internet that cross jurisdictions and have created major challenges for all sorts of regulation, whether it's law enforcement or telecom regulation, as the case might be. So all of these are issues that arise out of or that are covered in the realm of internet governance. You started off by talking about the youth there, and one of the events we're having is the 2nd Caribbean Youth Internet Governance Forum. That's on the afternoon of the first day. That's on the afternoon of the 22nd of August. And that actually is a program put together by a Caribbean Youth Committee. Now, the CTU kind of oversees the whole event, but that aspect of the the 3 days, that first afternoon, is governed by the youths, and they create their own program based on their own concerns. And some of the things that would be addressed in the youth forum as well as in the general forum would include artificial intelligence, which is a matter that is impacting on the internet greatly. All right. You talk about Facebook and so on, and in the news, we hear all sorts of things about the algorithms that are used to target people and all these sorts of things. So all of these are impacts that are challenging governments and regulators around the world, and these are matters that are discussed in the Internet Governance Forum.
Mr. Osepa, what do you think is going to be the greatest takeaway from these discussions that you all are having? What will be the greatest benefit to participants?
I think people should be equipped with the right tools in order for them to continue in the right direction. You did mention a while ago regarding the internet. It's very important for us not to penalize the internet itself. The internet is neutral. It's not good. It's not bad. It's like, for example, like a knife. A knife is neutral. You can use it to cut bread, but you can also use it to kill someone. If you look what they're doing on the internet nowadays, a lot of people started to penalize the internet, but the internet is not the problem. Fraud, for example, fraud has been there since mankind. Nowadays, people are just using the internet to commit crime. So we would like to show the wider community, the Caribbean community, how can we use the internet for meaningful things? And as I did mention before, we have been consumers for so many years, so it's time now for us to be producers, to be acquainted with the internet, with all the advantages that the internet brings in order for us to move on. So that, in my opinion, would be the key takeaway that I would like to give for the wider community.
Yeah. Mr. Cassimire, where can people register? Where can they get additional information?
Yes, I would encourage everyone to visit the CTU website. It's very simple to remember, ctu.int. You will see a big banner there related to the event. You click on the banner and you get all the information to register, more details on the program, any documents that might be relevant to the program and so on. So it's August 22nd to the 24th. All stakeholders are encouraged to register. When I say all stakeholders, as I said, government policymakers, private sector, civil society, including just end users, individuals can register. Persons from academia and youth in particular, because we are going to have the youth forum as a part of the program, and the youth will be addressing youth development matters associated with the internet. We'll also be discussing, as previously mentioned as well, the impact of artificial intelligence. We hear about ChatGPT and its impact on even the education sector and so on, intellectual property and all these sorts of things. We'll be talking about accessibility and inclusion, as well as actually there's also, I mentioned connectivity and the need to ensure that everyone is connected. And everyone means everyone in every geographical area, number one, but it also means everyone of different abilities.
Yes, gentlemen.
So,
we have run out of time, but thank you very much for sharing the information with us this morning. And we do wish you all a successful event. Bye for now.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, bye-bye. So it's time now for the 7 o'clock news headlines.